in Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Hello students, and a warm welcome to this class of Cooperation of Standard 12th. As we have already taken the first part, that is Organization of a Cooperative Society, from chapter number 1, that is Management of a Cooperative Society. Now here we understood the meaning of management by different authors, that is different management expert, that is Mr. Peter Drucker. Then we had Sir Charles Reynolds. Sir Charles Reynolds said that a management is a process or is of getting the work done through a agency of community. And Sir Peter Drucker, a renowned management expert, he says that management is a multi-purpose organ that manages a business and manages a worker and the manager. So under this we learned about the organization, we learned the meaning wherein it means that a set of people who come together, work together for attaining a certain goals. We understood the organizational chart, we learned the members who are the owners of the cooperative society and the managing committee who handles the entire organization. These managing committee are the elected representatives, they are the owners of the cooperative society. There is the chairman. If the chairman is absent, then it is the vice chairman who conducts the duty on behalf of him. We have the treasurer and we have the secretary. We also learn the different features of an organization, that is division of labor, where the work is divided according to their skills, coordination, which is also very important, wherein the work is, after you divide the work, you need to have coordination with all the departments so that the work takes place smoothly. We also learned about the achievement of objectives, that is, if you achieve the objective of each department, then the overall objective of an organization will be achieved. Equity and authority and responsibility structure. Next we learned was the principles of an organization, that was unity of objectives, flexibility, continuity, balance, responsibility, unity of direction. In principle, it states that you need to follow one direction. There should be unity. All the members need to be united and follow the same goal of an organization. We learned the membership. They are the owners of the cooperative society. They are also the proprietors, and they have members. They are the ones who look after the society. That is the managing committee. Now, who is eligible to become a member? A municipality or a legal trust, a panchayat, a firm or a company which is registered under the Societies Registration Act of 1860, a person who is competent to enter into a contract, Act of 1872, the local authority, the society which is registered and is deemed to be registered, the state government or the central government. Then we learned the duties of a member. There are many roles and duties of the members of the society. Any person can become a member of the society provided he is qualified, and if any member's admission is refused, then the member or the concerned individual can go to appeal to the registrar of a cooperative society. A member has only one vote. A member cannot appoint a proxy. A member cannot exercise his membership if he has not paid his dues and has not cleared his loans. He can hold the shares jointly. He can inspect the list of members. A member cannot claim any interest if the amount is exceeding to rupees more than 5,000. He has the right to get the share certificates which he has held. The next is, what are the duties of a members or the shareholders pertaining to annual general meeting? Here, they elect the chairman, they approve the reports, they pass the memorandum, they appoint the auditor, and they fix the remuneration of the auditor. They also fix the fees which is to be paid to the managing committee. They appoint the members of the managing committee. After that, we learned the cancellation of membership, that how is the membership cancelled or under what circumstances the membership can be cancelled. So we learned the different reasons, that is if the member dies, that is death of a member, or breach of trust if he does not obey the rules and if he is not following the rules and regulations of the society, and unsound mental position, if the member is mentally unsound, then his membership can be cancelled. Imprisonment, if for any reason he has been in prison for any act, then his membership can be cancelled. Non-payment of fees, if he has not paid his fees or dues on time, then his membership will be cancelled. Next is area of operation. If he does not, if the member is not, if he does not stay in that area of operation or from that jurisdiction, then his membership will be cancelled. Defaulter, if the member has not paid his dues and the loans are not cleared, his membership fees is not paid, then his membership will be cancelled. After that, we learned the managing committee. Managing committee are the owners of the cooperative society. They are the decision makers. They make the decisions. They have to look after the management of the society. After that, we learned the procedure of election. So there were 10 points that we learned in procedure of election. The first point was you publish the voters list. After you publish the voters list, you will appoint a chairperson or an officer to handle and to have free and fair elections. After that, you need to file your nominations. After filing your nominations, before filing of your nomination, you need to publish the notice about this election either on the notice board or on the newspaper. Once this is done, then you will file your nomination. After you file your nomination, you will scrutinize. The scrutinization of the nomination paper will be filed. After scrutinizing your form, then it will be the withdrawal. If the member wants to withdraw his name from elections, he can withdraw from standing for the election. After withdrawing, the candidate will be given a suitable symbol. After allotment of the symbol, voting will take place. After voting, there will be counting of the votes, and once you count, the results will be declared in the annual general meeting. Then we learn the government reservation policy regarding the election and who is not eligible to contest the elections of the managing committee. Then we learn the functions of the managing committee. What is the function? So here they consider the application of shares, they consider registration of shares, they consider the allotment of shares, they consider any fights or disputes which has taken place in the organization, in the society, the complaints, they sanction whatever the purchases is made, they test the weights, measures, they examine the working capital, they examine the register. They also sanction the purchases. Okay, they are the main head, they have to sanction whatever the purchases have to be made. One important thing, the managing committee has the power to remove the president. They can also arrange cultural programs for the members of the society. Also, they have to keep a track and they can check the books of accounts and which have been maintained by the society. They have to prepare the profit and loss account, trading account and the balance sheet. Then we learned about the tenure of the managing committee, that is 3 to 5 years, the termination, and then we had the office bearers. Who are these office bearers? They are the members of the managing committee. The managing committee has the power to appoint the office bearer so that to carry out the functions of the society. Now we have the secretary, who is very important office bearer and who is given the work of day-to-day functioning of the society. He plays the role in looking after the day-to-day administration of the society. So under the office bearers, we have 4 office bearers, that is the chairperson, vice chairperson, the secretary and the treasurer. In this we are going to learn, we have already learned the role, the appointment, and how they can be terminated. The chairperson is a very important person as he conducts the meeting, and he looks after the entire, he is wholly responsible for the society, as he is the main head of the managing committee. Chairperson is also called as a manager of the meeting. So we learn different roles, that is, he has the power to give the casting vote, he has to sign the minutes of the previous meeting, he needs to see that the meeting is duly convened and it is conducted, he needs to guide the discussion in the meeting, he needs to control the discussion in the meeting, he has to put the resolution for vote if needed, and he has to declare the result of voting if necessary, and also that he has to see that the provisions of the act, rules and bylaws are compiled. So here the removal of chairperson, the majority members of the society can give a representation duly signed by them to the registrar, and then after having an extraordinary general meeting, they can remove the chairman. They can discuss in the meeting, and there should be a reason. So the right of removal of chairperson is given to the members if they are found if the chairperson is not functioning well. Now, vice chairperson, he is the second most important office bearer of the management. Sometimes what happens is the chairperson cannot be present for some reasons, like maybe he has some sickness, or maybe he cannot attend the meeting for some reason, personal work, or he was outstation, or he has to be somewhere else. That time the vice chairperson conducts the meeting. So the rules for the vice chairperson is same as the chairperson. So the election of the vice chairperson is done the same way how the chairperson is selected. The role of the chairperson is basically same, but it is only in the absence of the chairperson. Secretary, the next office bearer which we took was the secretary, who is the most important office bearer of a cooperative society. He is sometimes called the chief executive of the society, as he executes all the decisions taken by the managing committee. The appointment of a secretary, the secretary is appointed for looking after the day-to-day affairs of the society on honorary basis. Now under duties of under secretary, we learn the duties. The secretary has 4 roles which he has to perform towards the members, office, managing committee and the registrar. When we say the office, we see that the secretary looks after the office, he looks after the correspondence, he issues letters, he guides the operation, he maintains the book, he operates the bank account, he maintains the record. The second, we learnt about the duties of a secretary towards the members. Here he issues letters to or circulars to the members, he issues application, he issues notices, circulars regarding the meeting to the members, he takes the note of the proceeding of the meeting, he supplies information to the members, he also gets the minutes approved and keeps the correspondence with the members. The third duty of the role of the secretary was towards the managing committee. Here he acts as an agent of the managing committee. He issues letters, circulars to the managing committee, he conducts the meeting, he supplies necessary information, he takes the notes down the proceeding of the meeting, he prepares a calendar as in when the meetings will be held. And the last one is the role of a secretary towards the registrar. Here the secretary will tell all the roles to the registrar. So here the duty of a secretary is to acquaint the registrar about the circulars or about the notices which have been received from the registrar to the managing committee. So whatever letters the secretary receives from the registrar, it has to be informed to the managing committee. Also to supply information, to give the audit rectification report, to issue notices of the annual general meeting of the society to the registrar, and to file a copy of the same. The next one which we learnt was the treasurer. Who is the treasurer? The treasurer is the one who looks after the cash. He handles the financial activities which are undergoing in a organization. He is also not paid any fee, but he may be given he is appointed on honorary basis. So he is in charge of the cash and maintaining of the books of accounts of the society. Next is we learned was the role, which is the most important answer from the board point of the view. What is the role of the treasurer? He maintains the books and he registers it up to date. He arranging of money as and when which is required. He prepares the vouchers and receipts on various payments and receipts. He also makes budgetary provisions, and he keeps the expenses in control. He executes the legality of expenditure which has been made. He holds the meeting of the finance committee and keeps the finances in control. So here the role of the treasurer is very important, as he also verifies the cash at any time. If he finds if there is any misappropriation found, then he verifies it and checks if the expenditure is legal or not. So here we had already learned in our first class, that is about the organization of a cooperative society, wherein we learn the duties, role, their functions of members, managing committee, the functions of and powers of the managing committee, the procedure of election, and there were for the office bearers, that is the chairman, vice chairman, treasurer, secretary. We learned their appointment, we learned about their roles, what is the role in the society, and how do they help in the smooth functioning of the society. Now in the second part, we are going to learn about the funds management of a cooperative society. Now as we know, the funds management, finance is a kingpin of a business. Just as we know that it is the lifeblood of a business. A business may be big or a business may be small. You require finance. Money is required to make more money. So the success of the cooperative organization depends upon its financial activities. The main objective of an organization is to make profit. Without finance, no business can be undertaken as by a cooperative organization or a company organization. So it may be a small business, big business, money is very, very important. Without finance, you cannot conduct your business. So in funds management, we are going to learn what are the factors which are determining the capital requirement of a cooperative society. We are going to learn about why there is a need of finance and from where do they collect this finance. There are three topics under this funds management of a cooperative society. So the first part is finance. As you can see, finance is the kingpin of business, or you can say define finance and state the need why the cooperative society requires finance and why there is a need of finance or to a cooperative society. As you, for example, as a student, you will also require money to travel to school in a bus, for your stationery expense, for your travel, for your canteen expense. So money is required. So here what we are going to learn about is why is money required for a cooperative society. As there are different activities which are conducted in an organization, money will be required for different reasons. So the first point is they need to meet the preliminary expenses of a cooperative society. So preliminary means starting any expense before you start a cooperative society. You need to have registration fees, or salary to the staff, or fees to the professionals to be paid. You need money. To acquire fixed assets, so if you want to purchase fixed assets like the land and building, plant and machinery, furniture, etc. If you want to purchase this fixed asset, then you require money. Third is to raise working capital requirements in meeting the day-to-day expense of the society. So you need money day to day. You need, for some reason, something happened, some problem in your society, you have to repair some particular part, or your machine broke down, you need to repair. For that reason, for the day to day working, you require money. Now for example, we require day to day, we need to buy certain things for our day to day requirement. So we need money. So same in an organization, any expense can take place. So you require money for day to day, meeting the day to day requirements. To purchase raw materials and stock of partly finished goods. Also you need money to purchase the stock of raw materials or partly finished goods for the society. To pay other expenses like interest on loan, interest on deposits, installation charges payable to technical expert, etc. Now when you start a society, definitely you will not want to keep it a small society, you will always want to expand. So to expand your business, you require finance. So to expand your business and to modernize your business to satisfy the growing needs of the society, you need to have money with you. The provision of the money also is required for transportation, insurance. You need to, if you want to move the goods, the stock from one place to another, you require finance. If you want to distribute, for distribution you require money for the petrol, for the people who are going to do, for the insurance. If you want to do advertisement about the society, about your products, also you require money. So this is all about why finance is required by the cooperative society. The next very important question is the features of the factors which are determining the capital requirement. Okay, factors determining meaning what are the factors which are required for the cooperative society. As we know, finance is required. Now how can you divide this finance, where the finance is required, or what factors will you consider when you want to raise the capital? If you need more money, where will you consider that you require more money? So I have already framed a question, that is, Mr. Anil is the chairman of Ambika Cooperative Society, Goa. What factors will he raise or will he consider to raise his capital? First point is area of operation. Second is nature or value of product. Third is size of business. Fourth is methods of acquiring business assets. Next is the frequency turnover and the types of activities. So these are the factors which we will have to consider while raising the capital. Let us take the first one, area of operation. Now say for example, a society is functioning in a village level and one society is functioning at district level. In a village level, the society which is functioning in the village level will relatively require less capital, whereas the society which is working in a taluka level or a district level will require more capital. So area, where the area, it depends upon, there you require finance. So in a village level, less capital, in a district or a taluka level, more capital. Second one is the classification of cooperative society. Now here it depends upon its class. For example, a cooperative credit society, when it's a credit society, it will require more capital than a consumer cooperative society, and industrial cooperative society will need still more capital. The third point is nature or value of a product. Say suppose for example, a cooperative society is producing a small article, small articles like soap or any small articles or a toothpaste, small articles, then it will require less capital. Whereas on the other hand, if it is manufacturing big machines, then that society will require more capital. Size of the business. Here let us take the wholesale trade and the retail trade. In wholesale trade, you require more capital because you are dealing in bulk, whereas in retail trade, you will require less capital. So a society which is engaged in wholesale trade will require more capital, as when the society dealing in retail trade will require less capital. Now methods of acquiring the assets. So over here, if suppose the society is acquiring the fixed asset or is purchasing like the building on outright purchase, then he requires cash. So for that he will require more capital. And if the society is acquiring that asset, a building, for rent, then it will require less capital. The next point is frequency of turnover. When we talk about frequency of turnover, if the turnover is rapid, then you will require less capital. Say for example, a restaurant and a baker. For a baker, if he produces his bread and all his bread is sold out, he gets money. With that same, he will have a turnover, and if he has a turnover, if all his breads are sold, then he will have money with him. So then if he has money, he requires less capital. So if the turnover is rapid, then less capital is required. That is the baker and the, for example, a baker, a restaurant. If the turnover is rapid, then you will require less capital. The last point is types of activities. A society which is undertaking manufacturing as well as distributing activities will need more capital. Okay? So if a society is undertaking manufacturing as well as distributing, he will require more capital. And the society which is only selling the goods or dealing with the goods, he will require less capital. So when we talk about types of activities, the activities when they are manufacturing and then they are distributing, he will need more capital than the society which is selling the goods which have been produced, manufactured by them. So the last topic for this chapter, that is the sources of finance. As we have already determined the capital requirement, okay, the management of the society has to raise some necessary amount of capital, and that too at economical cost. He needs money. How can he raise this money at an economical cost? So the sources of finance for a cooperative society are, the first one is entrance fee. Now as we know, whenever we go for some for a zoo, say suppose a Bondla zoo, when we take an entry, how do they help the, how do they collect their funds for taking care of the sanctuary or the animals, is by membership fee or an entrance fee. Same way in a cooperative society, okay, when you enter a cooperative society, you want to be a part of it, you need to, the society collects entrance fee from the members, from those prospective members at the time of admission. But we cannot consider this as an important source of finance, because it is nominal, because the fees which you are collecting is very nominal, very less. So you can be a part of the society. The second point is by donation. Now there are educational societies and other societies which are rendering democratic services, and they are allowed by their bylaws to collect money from or donation from wealthy person in the society, from the members, and also from the general public. Another way where you can, the source of finance is grants and subsidies. Now the grants and subsidies are given by the state and the central government to the labor cooperatives, the marketing cooperative, the primary agricultural societies during the first few years of the working. So when the cooperative societies, during their first few years of the working, the grants and subsidies are given by the state government and the central government. Concessions. There are special concessions which are given to the cooperative society, that is, they are exempted from paying income tax, sales tax, etc. They enjoy the cheap facilities which have been given to them by the RBI and the SBI. So we have learned the sources of finance, 4 sources of finance already, that is entrance fee, donation, grants and subsidies, and by special concession. There are total 10 points in this answer. The next is by issue of shares. Initially, a society collects capital by raising shares to the promoters or the members and the villagers who are residing in the area of working. Okay, so if you want to be a part of the society collects money. Now the value of the shares kept very low, that is rupees 10. Why it is kept very low? So that more members can be a part of the society. Now from the point of view, why do we say that this is the most important source of finance? Because here huge amount is collected because the fee is nominal, so more members will want to be a part of the society. The amount which is collected without giving any securities to the members. Third, the share capital which is collected from villagers will need not be refunded as society conducts the business of the firm, business for them. So the money what is collected, it need not be you need to give it to them, and the payment of dividend on share is not compulsory. Next is by receiving deposits. Now a society collects deposits from its own members, from family, the general public, as per the terms and conditions which have been laid down in the bylaws. However, most of these societies could not collect sufficient deposits because of many reasons. So the society, what he does, he tries to collect money first from its own members, from the general public, or from the conditions which have been laid in the bylaws. But sometimes they are not able to collect sufficient deposits because there is a competition, keen competition between the commercial bank and the cooperative societies to attract deposits. There is reluctance on the part of members to give deposits to such societies. They are reluctant to give deposits to such societies. The seventh point is by raising loans. Now society can raise its loan, its finance by issuing debentures and bonds. Now the debentures and bonds which have been issued are as per the conditions which have been laid down or prescribed by the registrar of cooperative society. Society must be authorized to issue debentures by its bylaws. Now a society can take loan from different financial institutions, that is LIC, State Bank of India, NCDC, NABARD, and loans from government agricultural refinance and development cooperatives. So till now we have already learned the issue of shares, entrance fees, receiving the deposits. We have learned raising on loans, by donations, grants and subsidies. Now the eighth point is by a contribution from the state and central government. The state and central government can subscribe to the share capital of the cooperative societies. It can provide the society to purchase directly or indirectly the shares of the society. There are other areas where the government provides finance by way of grants and subsidies to the cooperative society. The ninth point is by share capital contribution from the employers. Here the employers can assist or help the cooperative societies formed by the employees in the form of loans, participating in the share capital, and provision of premises. The last point for this topic is internal finance. This is one of the best source of finance in case the society should not distribute the entire profit among the members, because it can keep it for themselves. So this, when the entire profit is not distributed, it is called as plowing back of profit. So here, instead of distributing the entire profit to the members, they retain an amount or some profit in the form of general solvents, general reserves, depreciation and reserve funds. So this reserve can be made available to the society at the time of requirement. Moreover, if the society has created reserves, then it can maintain the general solvency of the and credit of the society. So this will help the society to take the loans easily. So it can keep a part of its profit with itself. So whenever it is needed, they can use it. So today in the funds management, students, we learned why there is a need of finance, why money is required, why finance is required by the society. Then we also learned the factors which are determining the capital requirement, wherein we learn the area of operation, the frequency turnover, the types of activity, class of activities. We learned the nature and value of the product, the size of business, the methods of acquiring the assets, and classification of cooperative society. Then we learned the sources of finance. So how does the society arrange or make arrangement for money, or how do, and that too at an economical cost, wherein we learn the 10 points, that is issue of shares, entrance fee, deposits by raising loans, donations, grants and subsidies. We learned internal finance, special concession, by share capital contribution from the employees, and contribution from the state and central government. So here we finish with chapter number 1. Thank you students, and I hope you can learn the entire chapter, as this is one of the most important chapter from the syllabus and which is carrying the highest marks. Thank you so much students. Okay, so now let us revise the important questions from the board point of view. The first question is, dash is a set of people working together to achieve certain stated goals. So what is this answer? Dash, we have already learned, dash is a set of people who are coming together, working together to achieve certain stated goals, and the answer is organization. Another important question, dash are the owners of the cooperative society. So who are the owners of the cooperative society? They are the members. The next question is, state and explain any 4 features of an organization. So here you need to state as well as explain the 4 features of organization. That is, you can explain division of labor, then coordination, equity, authority and responsibility structure, achievement of objectives. You need to explain as well as you need to state and explain the answer, which can come for 4 marks. Then the next question is, state and explain any 4 principles of an organization. So we have learnt more than 4, so you can write any 4 principles of an organization. That is, unity of objectives, unity of command, then flexibility, balance, responsibility, continuity. You need to state and you need to explain. The 5th question is, what are the prerequisites to become a member of a cooperative society? So a firm who can enter into a contract act, Indian Contract Act of 1872, a firm or a company who can, or a body who is registered under the Societies Registration Act of 1860, a society which is registered or who is deemed to be registered, then a legal authority, that is the panchayat, or municipality, the state government, central government, or a public trust is eligible to be a member of the society. Then we have the next question, what are the rights and duties of a member? Here the question is asked, the rights and duties of a member, the individual rights. So what are the rights and duties of a member? Any member can become a member of the society provided he is qualified, he has only 1 vote, he cannot appoint proxy, he can inspect the list of members. If suppose any member's membership is refused, okay, then the member or the individual can appeal to the registrar of the cooperative society. He can see the shares, he can get the share certificates which have been held by him. He has also hold the shares jointly, and he can inspect the list of members. So this is from, these are the first 5 questions. You may take a note of it and you may write the answers. Okay, so the next question is, that is, what are the rights of the members pertaining to annual general meeting? So you should not mix it with the rights of a rights and duties of a member with the duties of a member. Here you need to give the answer, rights of the members pertaining to the annual general meeting, wherein you are going to write about to elect the chairperson, to appoint the managing committee, to pass the memorandum, to appoint the auditor and to fix his salary, his remuneration, to consider and to pass the reports of the managing committee. That is different from the duties of the members. The next question is, when does the membership gets cancelled? How will the membership of a cooperative society be cancelled? One is death of a member, then we have imprisonment, area of operation, breach of trust, defaulter, area of operation, non-payment of fees. What is the procedure of election? So we have 10 points. We have right from voters list has been published till the declaration of result, that is publishing of voters list, appointing the election committee, then publishing it on the newspaper or on the notice board, then you file the nomination, then you scrutinize the form, you withdraw the form, then symbols are allotted, then voting takes place, then counting of the votes, and then you declare the results in the annual general meeting. All 10 points you have to write. Then we have the explain the functions and powers of the managing committee. What is the function and the power of managing committee over here is that they consider the application of shares, they consider the registration of the members, they also consider the application of the members, the allotment of the shares. The managing committee has the power to remove the president. Also they are the ones who sanction the purchases of the society, they check the books of accounts, and they maintain the accounts of the society. Okay, along with them that they examine the registers, they also consider any complaints from the members, staff, they allot the shares. That answer will come over here. They can even arrange for cultural programs for the members. That is, these are the functions of powers and functions of managing committee. The next question is the role of chairperson. Here you are going to write 8, if it comes for 4 marks, you are going to write 8 points. What is the role of the chairperson? What does the chairperson do? First is he conducts the meeting, he convenes and conducts the meeting, he guides the discussion, he gives the casting vote. He also signs the minutes of the previous meeting, he puts the resolution for vote if poll is demanded, and he decides the order of motion if it is to be decided at the meeting. Okay, the next question is explain the role of a secretary. Now I have already told you there were 4 roles, so the question can come explain the role of a secretary towards the office, or it can come explain the role of a secretary towards the members, or explain the role of a secretary towards the managing committee, or explain the role of a secretary towards registrar. If this is asked, how will you answer? You have to answer. If it's asked for office, you're going to write the role of a secretary towards office, that is control the activities, then guide the operation, give correspondence, maintain a record, operate the passbook. When we talk about members, you're going to write about the role of a secretary towards the members, that is to give information, to take down the notes of the meeting, to make if any necessary arrangement is there, to issue any circular or notice which is to be done by the secretary. Then we have the managing committee, same way to issue the circulars. For managing committee, he acts as an agent, the secretary is like an agent. He takes down the notes of the meeting, he prepares a calendar of the meeting, also he maintains records, he gets the minutes approved. And last, registrar. What is the role of the secretary towards the registrar? So here he acquaints the members about any information circulars which are received by the registrar to the members. Also he keeps the proposal of amendments to the registrar, keeps correspondence. He submits the audit rectification report to the registrar. So the role of the secretary is very important, as he handles the day-to-day working and the administration of the society. Here we have the last topic for the first part of organization of a cooperative society, is that explain the role of treasurer. Very important. Here you are going to explain the role, that is what is the role of the treasurer. He looks after the cash. He executes the budgetary provisions, he maintains the books of accounts, he prepares the vouchers, receipts, and maintains various payments and receipts. He also examines the legality of expenditure which are to be made, arranges the money if and when required. If there is any misappropriation found in the working, or he can verify the cash if he finds some misappropriation. He can hold the meeting with the finance committee, and he can plan the financial strategy for the same. Okay, so the next question is, why does a cooperative society require finance? So question can be asked like, finance is a lifeblood of business, so why does a society require finance? So here you are going to write the answer, why you require money, finance, that is to meet the preliminary expenses, for expansion, modernization, to buy raw materials, to purchase fixed assets. You are going to write those answer over here on for this. Next is, what are the factors determining capital requirement of a cooperative society? If it is as asked been for 4 marks, then you can write, if they tell you to explain any 4 points, then you have to write, you have to state as well as you have to explain. So state is, you are going to state the first point is area of operation, then you are going to talk about frequency turnover, class of activities, then value of the product, okay, size of the business, methods of acquiring the assets. So you will have to state as well as explain. And the last topic is, question is, state and explain different sources of finance. From here, sometimes the question can be also been asked for fill in the blank. So you need to know all. So that we learned 10. The first one was deposit. Then we learned about issue of shares, loans, by raising loans, by receiving deposits, internal finance, by entrance fee, by donations. Then we learned about grants and subsidies, by share contribution from the employees. Also we learned the special concessions and the contribution made from the state and central government. So it's very simple, you can learn all the points, and sometimes they ask for exam, they mention which points you need to explain. So it's always advisable to learn all 10 points, and they're very easy. So thank you students, you may revise your all the questions which I have given, so it will help you to get good marks for your exams. Thank you students.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.